Good evening. Welcome Maisie, welcome Mosty. Yeah, I think not having easy difficulty was definitely a mistake for a game like this. In particular because the normal difficulty is really hard already. Some people like that, but modern day gaming crowds are generally used to easier games, and that puts them off. So I think you should at least provide easier difficulties when you make a game like this, or you should be prepared to get bad reviews. I haven't played any of the missions, Maisie. I've only done the regular game and only on normal difficulty, so I'm not sure how much easier easy mode would be. Would an experienced player win practically every game, or is it still somewhat down to randomness? That's an interesting fact. I can already imagine how hard must be, considering how difficult the normal game is. But I did check all the missions, and indeed they all have like descriptions teaching you certain elements of a good strategy. Specific ways of handling things. Okay, yeah, you can win it a lot if you know how to play. It's not gonna come by itself, but if you play well, then you can usually win. Whereas in normal mode, even if you play well, you're not gonna win every game. And on hard, well, I guess you really need luck on hard to win it. Is it possible to win? I guess it is, looking at the scores. Let's dive in. New game. So yeah, yesterday I beat the game for the first time, and I've unlocked meanwhile now 3 characters that I haven't played. So far I've only been playing with the 4 starting characters. The doctor, the specialist, the mechanic, and the captain. So I want to try a different loadout now. The first one I'm gonna drop is the doctor. Plus 1 health to crew in module. That only works if you have several crew in the same module, which is usually not the case. And it's also only 1 health, which is not a big deal. So I think the doctor is pretty much the weakest one of the starting characters. It can be useful sometimes, his ability, but generally I'm not too fond of the doctor. I'm gonna put in the commander, then the captain, for the same reason, plus 1 die to crew in module. Probably a bit more better than the doctor, because 1 extra die is usually more of a deal than 1 extra health. But still my second least favorite of the starting characters. So I'm gonna put in the technician, who has plus 2 assist. Commander has 4 repair. I think that's not a role, but he just automatically is able to repair 4. That's what I assume. Just like the specialist also has the 1 reroll, instead of having an ability that you need to use a die for, like all the others have. And then between the last 2, I'm gonna drop the mechanic, Pascal. Although he's usually the most surviving one, I noticed. He's often the last survivor. Plus 1 hull is very useful, but it's only 1. And I think there are the specialist here with his extra roll is much better at improving hull by going to the engine room, where you need pairs, and with this extra reroll it's a lot easier to roll pairs, also for the food. So I think the specialist is by far the best of the 4 characters. and that's why I'm gonna pick the pilot as well then. Yeah, pilot can ignore movement damage, which means that he can go to the most critical room without taking damage from moving through other rooms, which in particular in the end game is quite a big deal because there will be hazards all over the ship. So moving through them will do 1 damage for each damaged room you move through. That's quite significant. So yeah, ignore movement damage. I can pretty much imagine Maisie that it's indeed a very powerful ability. So that will be my new crew. So the specialist and then 3 new ones. I also noticed that I unlocked here for the specialist a different image. And I'm not sure why I'm getting this. When I completed the mission, I probably didn't maximize my score because I didn't know how it worked. I got a message that you needed at least 1 crew in the cockpit to successfully complete the landing on Mars. So I assumed that you just needed 1 person in the cockpit, and I think it was my specialist who was already in the cockpit when my last turn started. And my ship was pretty much safe after, I think 2, maybe 1 even of my crew members had done their turns. And the last 2, yeah, they could still do something, but it wasn't required to finish the game. So I just had them remove more hazards and get more research, and that gave me a bit more extra points. But I realized that afterwards that I probably would have been better moving them into the cockpit, because you get extra points for every crew member that lands on Mars, and only the ones in the cockpit are landing. I'm not sure if I understood that correctly, but I got 1 crew member landed but 4 survived. Which I think is the reason why I got this image, because this is the only one who actually made it to Mars. But I might be wrong there, so if you know better, Maisie, please do correct me. So let's just start. We're gonna pick normal difficulty again. I'm definitely not ready for hard yet, and I don't want to play on easy. Normal's just fine. That challenge is really cool. And our mission starts. I'm gonna let the videos roll, the cutscenes roll during the first play. They're not as long.
We can't turn back, but how can we go on?
Oh, it's new. Alright, so we have our ship. Micrometeoroids have destroyed the pantry and crippled the Iktomi. J. Cross has been ejected into space, and Mapia Musgrave suffered a fatal injury. Your new goal, survive. So the pantry here was destroyed by a meteorite. So for people who haven't played Tarsus before, I'll start with explaining a bit. I think most of you never played it yet. So we begin with the top left here. This is our hull. So we have 4 hull strength left. If we take 4 damage, then the ship will be destroyed and we lose. We can see here already that we have 2 hazards, and both of them at the end of the turn, if they aren't removed, they will do 2 damage to the hull. Which means that if we don't remove at least one of them, then we will not see the beginning of the next turn. Yeah, I'm not even sure what pantry means, but I think it had to do with the food distribution. Is that where the food is normally stored? I'm not sure. So yeah, destruction imminent, it already says so. Then we have the deploy crew here, and you can see 1 turn ahead which hazards you will get. You can only see the severity of the hazards, the number of hazards and how severe they are, but what exactly you'll get is random. So the first turn we had 1 light hazard and one very bad hazard. Yeah, let's say low, medium, and high. So this one over here is a low one because it only takes 8 die or 8 dots on the die to remove. So this is pretty easy to get rid of. While this one, 23, this is a serious hazard. Let's say maybe normal, light, and serious, or severe. So this one will take some effort to get rid of. And we see the next turn we will get another light hazard and a normal or medium one. So you can always see 1 week ahead. We need to survive 10 weeks to get to Mars and win the game. Doesn't matter how many crew we have left, of course at least one, and of course the ship itself also needs to survive. But losing crew early in the game is pretty much game over as well, because you really need your 4 crew. Losing some crew at the very end is possible to still win the game, but not if you lose them early or mid-game. Then we have assist. Assist will help us to prevent hazard during rolls. I'm not sure if I use the correct terminology, because I use hazard for both the event and for the negative effects. And what I mean here, assist, is the negative effects. So you can see here the 2 and the 3 and the 1 and the 2. Those are hazards, I think. Help. Does it mention it? Yeah, events, okay. So the other one is hazards. Yeah, there's stasis, but stasis is one particular type. Blue is stasis, freezes the dice, exactly. Then we have injury. Injury does 1 damage to the crew member rolling the dice, and then you have void, which removes the dice altogether, or the die altogether. So stasis is the least problematic. It just freezes the dice and you cannot re-roll it. So we have blue for stasis, orange for injury, and purple for void. Those are the 2 types of hazards, and assists prevent that from happening. So the first hazard you roll will be cancelled by an assist, and you can have up to 3 assists. Every turn 1 assist is renewed, as long as you are not at maximum, of course. Then we have food. At the start of your turn you can use food on a crew member, and that restores 3 dice, which is very important, of course, because you need the dice to do stuff and to remove these negative events. So you can see we only have 1 food, which is kind of problematic, in particular because you can see these 3 crew members over here only have 2 dice. So they're not good at solving problems right now because they need food, and we only have 1 food. Then we have the ship info. This is just the abilities of the 4 crew members. Here we have research. We can use die that we don't need for the roll in a certain room to spend that on research, and then we can spend research for positive effect. For instance, 1 research to repair 3 on a module, 4 research to reduce stress for all crew members by 30%. I think the highest you can go is 6. Yeah, it's 6 because you only have 6 different die, 1 to 6. So you can invest die in research to use them later for positive effect, or you can use 1 research to actually re-roll the 3 research options. That may be useful if you have 3 bad ones, to spend 1 research to get a new series here. And then we obviously have help and options. The ship itself, so we can see, or the crew members first perhaps. If we look at the crew members, at the right side we have their health. So they all have a max health of 6 at the start. And you can see Joy Lee here, the technician, only has 2 health left. Same for the specialist. Our commander is in good shape, and the pilot is at 3 health. So also health is not that great at the start. So we don't have many assists, we don't have much food, we don't have too much health, and we also have few die. Only our technician here has 4 dice to start with. So these are the maximum 5 dice. This is how many dice they can roll when they are this turn. And at the end, after rolling dice, 1 die will be removed. I'm having difficulty with my words here. Hello Netherlands, thanks for dropping in. I guess that means you just finished your stream. I've only just started recently. We've been discussing a bit about strategy and the game's mixed reviews, and I was just going through the basics, how the game works. So yeah, 1 die will be removed each turn, so you need to recover die, and typical way to do that, of course, is to use food at the start of the turn, but there are other ways. And then we have at the left here is the stress meter. So you don't want this to go up to the maximum, because then the crew will panic. So trying to get stress under control is also an important element. Oh, I didn't notice that, Netherlands. When I jumped into your stream earlier, your sound was working. But I haven't followed it through from the start till the end. Okay, let's get started. Priorities. First thing is to take a fresh breath and determine the priorities. It's pretty clear that we need to remove at least one of these 2 events, because otherwise our ship will be destroyed and we will not see the next turn. However, we don't necessarily need to remove both events this turn. We can maybe do that, but we don't need to. Of course, if we leave one event, we will take 2 hull damage. So next turn we will start with only 2 hull. That's not good, of course. Our hull is very important. But at the same time, we should focus on priorities. And if we would focus on hull right now, remember that each crew member will lose 1 die each turn. So that means next turn, these 3 crew members will be left with only 1 die. And we will get 2 new events next turn. So that's really not great. We really want to recover some die, and that's probably more important than our hull. Secondly, food. So either we get dice immediately, or we try to get some food, because then beginning of next turn they can eat and they get 3 dice, or whoever eats food gets 3 extra die, and that would actually help quite a lot. So getting food or dice is our biggest priority at this point. Secondly, we also need to consider our crew members' health, in particular the specialist and the technician with only 2 health. That's relatively critical, and that means we will have to find a way to deal with that. So food is my number 1 priority, followed by, or let's say hull is our number 1 priority, or at least make sure we don't get 4 damage. But so removing one of both events is priority 1. Getting food or dice is priority 2. Recovering health is priority 3. And removing the second event is priority 4. Now you can already see if we handle the first 3 priorities, we will not be able to deal with the 4th one. So one of these events we are going to practically ignore. We might partially deal with it, but we're not gonna remove it entirely. Then next thing to consider is the order of action. Because it's not because the priority is to get food that the first thing we should do would be getting food. We should consider the order of action. We have one little problem here, and that is that the biggest hazard or event here is in the middle of the ship, and 3 of my crew members are in the back of the ship, while the food is coming from this module here. So they cannot walk through that module without going through the event, and that means they would take 1 damage, which is not really what we want. The good news is our technician over here has the most die, 4, so he might be able to effectively grow some food, which will prepare us for the next turn. Health, we can wait till next turn to handle the health issues, but we will need to tackle that next turn for sure. But then we have a second problem. The light hazard here that we want to remove is down below, so we also need to go through this. And this is where our pilot comes in handy, and Maisie mentioned it at the start of the stream. I haven't played with the pilot before. The pilot does not, his special ability, he ignores movement damage, which means the pilot can walk from the back of the ship to this module down here, the operations, and he would not take the damage from moving through the life support. Yeah, maybe we should go through all the modules, I forgot about that. So flight control. In flight control we have, so each room has also a special ability, just like all the crew members. And you can use dice. In flight control, a 5 or 6 can be used in flight control to prevent movement damage for all the crew members during that turn. In the greenhouse we can harvest food, which does require 2 die of the same number. So you need pairs. If we get 3 of the same number, then we can grow 2 food even. So 1 or 2 food. So this requires a few more dice. People with 2 dice only, they need luck to roll twice the same number. But if you have 4 and you can re-roll, then it is doable to grow 1 food here. Then we have life support to regain dice, also very important at this point in time. Operations to reduce stress, medical bay to recover health to full for just that crew member. Same with stress reduction in operations, it's only for that crew member, but I think it's 60% reduction. Maintenance in the back for hull repairs, like greenhouse, you need pairs. But this can actually repair the hull. And finally the laboratory over here to increase our assist. Right. The good news is to recover dice, we need to go to the life support, and that's also where one of the hazards is. But I'm gonna focus first with our pilot on removing this event, because we need to get rid of that, and we want to make sure that our pilot succeeds, because if he doesn't, then we need to send a second crew member in here, because if we don't remove either of those events, our ship will be destroyed. So that's our number 1 priority. Let's move the pilot, ignores movement damage. He needs to roll 8, and we have a stasis on the 1 and a 2. So if we roll a 1 or a 2, we will not be able to re-roll that die. And we get a bad roll. Now, so we rolled 2 2s. This is already the RNG in action. So we have a stasis on a 2. meaning that this die here cannot be re-rolled. We cannot hold it, we cannot re-roll it, it will just stay there and it will stay a 2. Luckily we had one assist, and that's the reason why it's good that we started with this event. So we used automatically the one assist that we had to prevent stasis on the second one. So we can still re-roll this one. However, if we want to repair the module, we will need to roll a 6 now. Oh, so close! We were close. Now the question is, what are we going to do with it? So we can either spend those die to repair the module, but we will not succeed either way. We can partially repair it to make it easier for the next crew member who will send over. We can use the module's special ability to reduce stress. That's not a priority. Or we can actually invest in research. For instance, what we could do is use the 2 in research and then use this 1 research duct tape to repair 3 onto 1 module. 3 plus 5 is 8, and we prevent the need for a second crew member to head over here. I think this is probably the best thing I can do here right now. Alternatively, I could... yeah, no, this is a no-brainer. So the 2 will invest in research, we get 1 research, we spend it to repair 3 on a module, and then we use the die, and we cleared this event. And we can also see our pilot just lost 1 die, so you can't go lower than 1, they always keep 1 die. But that means Yuri here still managed to clear that event. So now our ship's gonna survive, our ship's no longer in any danger. Well, yes, inventive, but lucky at the same time that we had that research option, Maisie. So if you look at it closely, then I think this is just the solution to go for. If you consider your options, then that was just the only right choice. Sometimes there's dilemmas, but here I think it was a no-brainer. So Yuri dropped to 1 die. So if we don't give him food, he will only have 1 die next turn, which is quite a problematic. So we can use the food. Let's start with our technician who is already here to see if we can grow some food. Then we know at least if we need to send the other crew members to recover dice or not. There's always an easy way out. Not in this game, Netherlands, not in this game. I totally challenge that statement. So, deploy technician here. So here the greenhouse. The first die we put in here doesn't give us anything, but if we have 2 die of the same number, then we earn 1 food. If we have a third of the same number, then we can get 2 food. The quit button. Okay. I'm not a rage quitter. I'm not a rage quitter. Although this game at times can really make you do that. Alright. Now we could use here a die also on our technician to get +2 assist, which might be an option later. At first I'm gonna focus on food. We have no event here, of course, so it's either harvesting food, using the technician's special ability, or investing in research. Oh, excellent! Excellent! So this is also a no-brainer. It's a shame we have to use those 6s for that, because I would like to use a 6 to get those +2 assist. But the food is priority. was priority number 1 after, well, priority number 2 after removing one event. So that's priority number 2, folks. And the last die, I'm gonna reroll, hope for a 5 or a 6. Nope. So that means we'll invest it in research. We could use it right away to get +1 assist, but I don't think it's important now, because we still have crew members to act, and we don't want to use that assist this turn. We can still use it next turn to get what +1 assist, because then we'll probably need it much more than we do right now. Alright, finished deployment. So we're back to 3 food, meaning that our commander, our specialists, who both will lose 1 die still this turn, and our pilot, we can give them food and they will go from 1 die to 4 dice, and our technicians at 3. So that really removes the dice problem in the short term. Although we will be without food again, at least our crew will have sufficient dice during the second turn with only a low and medium priority event happening. Of course, our hull is also an issue and we need to recover some health, but we started pretty well. So these two, well, if we can have them recover dice, then they might not need the food. We can also already start working on this event, and both are in the same module, so we might be able to clear this. Alternatively, we could send one of them here to repair the hull, but rolling pairs when you only have 2 dice, that's probably not gonna work, so that will be a waste of a crew member's turn. So let's just send them in here. Specialist commander. Yeah, let's start with the commander. He has 4 repair. Ah, it does take a dice. Oh, any dice. So yeah, this is the first time I play with the commander, so any dice, even a 1, can be used to repair 4. So yeah, you wouldn't do that with a 5 or a 6, because then you could just drop the 5 or the 6 on here. But if you roll a 1, you can up that to a 4. So that's actually 3 extra dots, if you consider it. Life support, if we put 1 die in here, we get 2 more dice. If we put in a pair, we get 4 more dice. But the maximum is 5. This might be more important than removing the event. So if we roll pairs, we might go for this. If we roll high, we'll use it to repair. And if we roll low, then we can use our class ability. But we only have 2 dice. 5 and 2, and the 2 goes into stasis. Okay. What do we do? This is a dilemma. So the 2, we can't do anything about it. We could use it to regain dice. We could use it to repair 4, which is probably the best idea. The question is, do we reroll the 5? If we reroll and we get another 2, then we can recover all our dice and we wouldn't need any food next turn, so we can preserve one of our food. On the other hand, removing 9, because 4 by using his repair ability plus 5, that's removing 9 from that event would bring it down to 14, which means the event would practically be gone at the start of the next turn. Not entirely, because our last crew member cannot roll 14 with 2 dice. So what is our priority here? Preserving that 1 food or getting this event down? I'm doubting here. Because dice and food is so important. And we can't stop this event from happening in the first place. I'm gonna reroll it and hope for a 2. Okay, it's a 4. That means we lose 1. Wow, okay. Would have been 16 if we hadn't rerolled. No big deal. And our specialists will do the same. A 5 and a 6. Excellent. We'll just use it on the event, and it goes down to 6, so that will be an easy event to clear next turn. Now the new turn starts, we take our 2 damage from the event.
But if I can't lead them, we're all dead. I need to get it together.
Did I do that, Maisie? Oh my god. I thought I did. Oops. Yeah, that was... I'm playing slow and I'm still playing too fast. This is really a game where you need to... so I lost another 2. It's no big deal, I think, but... You're alright, Maisie, I screwed up there. So, start of the turn, we took our 2 damage, and now we have to choose between these 2 options. I can't focus on my job when everything's going to hell around me. Put on the suppression system now, or you'll regret it. The crew takes no movement damage during this turn, but these 2, the specialist and commander, will lose 1 health, which means the specialist will go down from 2 to 1 health, which is pretty bad. And there aren't many events, so the no movement damage is not such a useful bonus, especially since one of them, the pilot, already has this as an ability. Second option, if I have to sift through some buggy code one more time, I'm going to smash my fist through the monitor. Solve these so work doesn't get lost. +2 assist, -1 hull. Yeah, exactly, Maisie. The stress level will impact the event, so if you have more stress, you will have lots of bad options. You will have to choose between bad and really bad. I'm thinking the second one is more useful. We do lose 1 hull, which brings us to 1, but we can repair some hull. And those 2 assists will come in use, and then we have 3 assists. I will make it a lot easier to clear events. Whereas here, no movement damage is not a very good bonus, and -1 health for a specialist is pretty bad because he only has 2 health at the moment. So we'll go with this option. We're going to use our food to recover dice. And now we have 4 dice, 4 dice, 3 dice, and 4 dice. This is a lot less critical than at the start of our previous turn. Finish, and we get 2 new events. A low severity one and a medium severity one. They're pretty much the same in terms of dice needed, but this one has a void hazard. This means if you roll a 4, the die will just vanish. So if you roll 2 or 3 4s, then your 2 or 3 dice will vanish. So this is where assists are useful. Here we only have the stasis. So that's why this is a less severe event. It's not a big difference, but it is a difference nonetheless. So if we don't clear this event, they will all lose 1 die, which is not good. Telemetry fail 1 damage to the hull, and meteorite strike 2 damage to the hull. We're definitely gonna clear this one out, which means we will just take 1 damage and we have 1 hull. Instead of clearing this event here, we might choose to move to maintenance, and try to repair our hull, because this, with the same number of dice, we might be able to repair 2 or 3 hull, as well. This only prevents 1 damage. Although in the long term, of course, this event will then stay till the next turn. So it is a bit of a dilemma there, but generally for such an event that takes a lot of dice to clear and only does 1 hull damage, it's usually better at the start of the game to actually try and increase your hull or repair your hull. Right, focus first on this one, I think, because we need to get rid of this event. I'd really like to remove this one as well, because -1 dice is really not good. And then secondly, so first priority, get rid of this hull damage. Secondly, either remove this one or repair hull, with a preference for repair hull. 3, I'm gonna say remove the -1 dice all, because we have no food. They will already lose 1 die each. So losing another one, that will bring them down to 1, 2, 2, and 2. That's not how we want to start our next turn. So this -1 dice all, we really should get rid of that. And then the last thing, if we have already tackled those priorities, then I would say let's try and recover some health for our specialist or our technician or the pilot. You can lose on week 1, but I think it's really rare or very hard to get that. As you could see in my first turn, I had 2 events that each did 2 hull damage, and I started with 4 hull. So if I failed to remove either of those 2 events, then I would have lost. So in theory it is possible, but that one event was so easy, sending all 4 crew members and all 4 of them failing. I don't think it could even, because the event only took 8 to repair, and even with 2 dice you rolled at least 2, so sending 4 crew members in would guarantee that you could fix the problem. There were no hazards that could kill crew, so I don't think first turn that you can lose. But you can be in such a bad situation after the first turn, because you start out with hardly any food, with hardly any dice. So if you have a bad first turn, you will feel that during the next turns. So getting a good start is important. And losing on turn 2 or turn 3 is definitely possible. Right, priorities. Let's clear this one out. I kind of want to do this with the technician, because the technician, clearing only a 6 is easy. He's the one with only 3 dice. So the one with the least dice takes care of this easy event. Secondly, the technician can use, if he has extra dice, he can use one to get +2 assist, although we are already at 3. And third reason is the technician is the one with the lowest dice. He will drop to 2. We don't have food, so if he goes there, any excess dice, he can use them to regain dice. On the other hand, starting with the technician, he cannot use his +2 assist right now. We don't need his +2 assist, so that's no big deal. If we have any excess dice, we can use them on research, so I'm gonna send a technician to remove this event first. 631, which means we can clear the event. I'm gonna keep one die and roll and hope we get another 3. No, do I need to? Yeah, maybe I can. If he rolls another 3, I'll recover. I'll get into full dice. And it's another 1. So I'm gonna use the 3 on research and the 1 to recover 2 dice. So he's back at 4 dice. And we have 2 research, so we can use it even to get another die on the active crew member, which would bring him to 5. Plus 1 assist is not that great. Minus 30 stress. That's for all crew members, that's quite significant. So question here, are we going to... And we're gonna have face these dilemmas all the time. Are we gonna spend 1 die, 1 research, no, 2 research to get 1 die? That sounds pretty expensive for just one die. But 4 or 5 dice can be quite a difference next turn. Or are we gonna save up research? I think I'm gonna save up my research and let's stay at 4 dice. Okay, next we need to repair our hull. That's the highest priority, because if we don't repair our hull, our ship's gonna be destroyed. Yes, stress is better long-term wise. Absolutely. I think that 1 die, especially since 2 research for just 1 die on 1 crew, that's pretty lowish. Who are we going to send to repair? I think the specialist is ideal for that, because the specialist can reroll dice. On the other hand, I do want to heal the specialist, because we have 2 crew members at low health and I want to at least try to heal one of them. So we might not be able to if we fail at our other priorities. Hi Mosty! Glad I convinced you about the merits of this game. Have a good night, thanks for dropping in. Let's see. So I'm not gonna send a specialist to repair the hull. Commander has repair for one of the... I might go with the pilot then. He has no use for ignore movement damage this turn anyway. I'm gonna send the pilot to try and repair the hull. Okay, 6 and 6, and that's 2 hull repaired. If we can get another 6 with the second roll, then we can repair 1 more. And that's what I was afraid of. We can use the 4 on research, but that means that we will lose one of our dice, because the 3 is already used. Or I could use the 2 research now and then put the 3 and the 4 in research to put it back to 2. I'm not sure, Maisie, if you know this, but if you shuffle, you always use the lowest die in the research. Is there a way to change that? I don't think there is, but... Because I would rather use the 3 to re-roll. I think I'm gonna save my research to get these sedatives, because that will indeed benefit us in the long term. Yeah, unless all the options are bad, but sedatives is really good, and the other two can be useful and are relatively cheap. So I'm gonna lose the die. The dice hole Netherlands is only between during the turn. So if you put a dice in the hold here, unless I'm mistaken, yeah. So unused dice will be lost when you finish deployment. So you can use those here, and if you re-roll, then the dice in your dice hold will not be re-rolled. But if you finish deployment, you lose all unused dice. But I can't use it because he doesn't have a class ability that uses dice. We need a 6 for hull repair, and we need 1, 5, or 6 for our research. The only option to use it would be to spend, to use actually this one, the snack. Yeah, to spend some research so the 3 slot in our research becomes free again. I don't think it's worth it, so finish deployment and we lose that 1 die. Alright, so now our ship save again. Next priority, well, we want to remove this event, we want to remove this event. I think this one is more important than that one. And we also want to recover some health for our specialist. I think getting rid of the -1 dice event is more important than the health recovery. Although we need to tackle that because it will become an issue if we stay at low health. Let's not forget next turn we will have 2 low severity and 1 high severity event happening. So if we don't clear these events, we will have 5 events next turn on the ship. So we do need to prepare as best as we can. And we may have some injury hazards, which means those hazards will be an issue for our crew at low health. So I'm gonna start with the commander at the -1 dice all. And then I'll send the specialist to medbay to recover health, and I'm gonna leave this event at the left. Unless the commander fails to remove this event, then I might send the specialist there as well. I really hope I don't have to. I doubt it with 4 dice, but we're gonna have to wait and see, because there are 2 stasises here, 1 and 2. The good news is the commander has his class ability if I don't forget to use it, which is quite a good counter to the stasis on low dice. And we also still have 2 assists. That's also pretty important. So the first and the second 1 or 2 will not go into stasis. Okay, what an excellent roll. Now, the ability of the module increase assist is not very useful because we are at 2 already, and at the end of the turn we will get 1 assist. We always recover 1 assist, so using this is not a good idea. Repair, yeah. If we put 4 directly, that's already the same. So the class ability, we don't need it either. So we can use 3 dice and then 1 on research. So yeah, that's 15. And then we can put the 5 on research. And we might use it immediately to reduce stress. So 6, 4, 5. 5 and finish deployment. This is going well. This is going really well. So we still have the specialist left. Let's look at our stress levels. They're not that high. So reducing 30% from something not too high, the higher their stress level gets, the bigger that 30% becomes in absolute value. It's not really an issue yet. I don't know, Maisie, do you think that the stress recovery would be useful now, or that I better wait till the stress goes up a little more? Yeah, we can see the effect here. Oh, is that 30% of a full 100% bar? So that's actually minus 30 stress, not 30%. Yeah, but the description says minus 30% stress. But if we look at them, 30% of this is not this. So the full bar is 100%, so the 30% stress is remove 30 stress where the maximum is 100. It's not 30% of the current stress level they have. So in that case, I'm definitely gonna use it, because it's not relative. It doesn't matter how much stress they have, it just removes 30. It's maybe overkill on the technician, because he or she probably has less than 30 at the moment, but it's probably close either way. So I'm gonna use the sedatives, all at low stress levels, and then the specialist will send him to medbay and try to recover some health. The only downside is that he can't do anything else. He's got 4 dice. We only need 1 5, and he doesn't have a special ability to spend dice on because he gets +1 reroll. So the only way to use our other dice will be on research. So I'm still wondering if it's worth it at this point in time, now that he has 4 dice. Maybe he can get rid of this event. We still have 2 assists. So we might be able to get rid of this event, but we would have 2 crew members at low health still when we get 1 severe event. Or you didn't see it? Yeah, no, there's still 1 event left. I sent the pilot to repair the hull, and he repaired 2 hull, which was better than preventing 1 hull damage. Or at least in my opinion. Of course, on the other hand, the event repeats every turn. But I think at the short term that was a better solution than getting rid of the event. Our technician recovered dice. He cleared the event that we would remove dice. He's gonna drop to 3 dice, so it will be 4 3 3. 4 3 3 3. We don't have any food. I don't think ignoring it is such a big risk, and low health is an issue because we will now start to get injury hazards. The advantage also is that we will start next turn with 3 assists if we don't deal with an event now. If he deals with the event, Damn it, dilemma, dilemma, dilemma. Yeah, on the other hand, we do have a void here, which can be quite annoying, so the 2 assists that we have can be very useful. In particular, in combination with the reroll, he should be able to clear that event for sure. 3 events versus 4. This is a medium severity event. But I have a feeling I'm gonna regret it, because I will probably lose those assists, and if we get a injury hazard in a bad place next turn, we could actually get some of our crew killed. Yeah, tough choices all the time. I'm gonna go with the health. The advantage is that we can spend the rest also on research, like 7 repair 1 module. That will be very useful next turn to get rid of those events. In particular, the high severity event. Okay, we've got our health recovery, maximum health. And the rest will go into research. 6. We roll the others. It's usually better to try and get the highest numbers for the research, because the lowest ones are the ones that you use for your excess dice to spend on research to begin with. Reroll is a risk, because if we roll a 4 or a 6, we won't be able to use it. There we go. We could recover 1 die. But we can still do that at the start of during the next turn when one of our crew is going to act. Let's first see if we need that or not. Okay, turn 2. Finished. Take 1 hull damage.
I let my fear get the better of me, but the others have proven me wrong. I'm proud of how the crew has come together. I think we might actually have a chance.
Alright. We're all going to die if I don't do this. I have to go outside of the ship and patch the problems from the outside. It's crazy, but I have to. Oh, excellent. +1 hull, and they both take 1 health damage. However, since I just healed her, they can both afford it. They're both at high health. Or get 1 food and lose 1 hull. Lose 1 hull is probably a bit of danger here, because we are gonna get 3 hazards, 1 severe. We still have 1 who already does damage to the hull, so -1 hull, that sounds a bit problematic, and we don't need food right now because nobody has at 2 dice. If we use food on someone with 3 dice, then we only have partial benefit from the food. Because it recovers 3 dice. If we only use it to recover 2, that's a bit of a waste of food. So we don't really need the food straight away. But we're gonna need it next turn, because 3 of them will drop to 2 dice again. But -1 hull is too severe a penalty. +1 hull, on the other hand, that gives us some leeway. We can ignore some events that deal damage to the ship. And the -1 health is really no big deal here on these 2, so I'm gonna go for this one. And now... Okay. Alright, so what do we have? We can deal with this. This is no big deal. We have 1 event that does 2 damage to the hull. but is very easy to clear. We have one that removes one food, which is no big deal because we have no food. Of course, if we want to get food later, then we will need to get rid of this event first. And we will need food next turn. But we can also use like life support to regain dice. This one, however, this one is a serious event, Netherlands, because this one removes 2 health of all our crew members. 2 health of our technician means he dies, or she dies. Our pilot would drop to 1 health, and even the specialist and the commander from high health would go to low health. And you should also look at these hazards. This is a pretty difficult event because there's a 4 injury. Yeah, the injury events, those ones are the ones usually screwing me over, Maisie, but this one's also pretty bad. Because the 1 and the 2 are void, which means if you roll a 1 or a 2, your die gets deleted, it just vanishes. So you have less dice. And the 4 causes 1 injury. So half the possible dice that you roll will cause issues. So if you go in there with only 3 dice, then you might not be able to use one of them. If you roll like 1, 2, 2, then your 3 dice just vanish. So clearing this event is pretty hard. The good news is I have 3 assists. And assist is very important here because it cancels the bad effect of those hazards. So I want to tackle this one first while I have my assist. These events, they just have the stasis, which just blocks the numbers on the die, which is not as big as a deal. In particular for our technician, who can use his ability to repair 4 while rolling like a 1. And this one also has a void, but this one again is no priority. If we can get rid of this one, we only take 1 hull damage this turn. So priority 1, getting rid of this event first while we have full assist. Priority 2, getting rid of this event that will do 2 damage to the hull. That should be easy to clear. 3, probably ensuring we will have food again. And 4, our crew member with low health, our technician, maybe recover health. But food is probably a bigger deal than health at the moment. We also have this 7 repair 1 module, which can be really helpful on this one. So who are we going to use on which event? No, Maisie, they don't get worse, but they don't get any better either. Yeah, all the events except telemetry fail. That would probably be the best thing to go, and then heal the technician. But you should consider, hi OB, thanks for dropping by. That is the best case scenario, Netherlands. The worst case scenario is people will lose their roles and we might not be able to do all of them. We want to make sure that if one of them fails, that it's the least problematic one. So which one can we afford to fail? Not the -2 health all and not the -2 hull here. The -1 food, I would rather get rid of it, but it's not the end of the world if we fail. Recovering health for our technician, not the end of the world if we cannot do that. So that would be luxury. The other hand, Technician has 4 dice, which would have been rather useful here. I think I'm gonna send my Commander, because he's good at health, low stress, and he has the 4 repair. I'm gonna send Commander to this most serious event and hope he can get rid of a lot of, or at least repair a lot straight away. Okay, 2 assists. So you see, without the assist he would have taken 1 damage and this die would have vanished. But it didn't. So we'll go with the 6. The 4, we could use it because it's relatively okay. On the other hand, I might consider re-rolling because we can still up anything up to 4. However, every extra die we roll is a risk of getting more voids and injuries, and we only have 1 assist left this time. So I think I'm gonna use the 4. I could even use the 2 as well for 4 repair, that would be 8. Okay, I got it. 4 repair. Inventive Maisie, look at this. Look at this, Maisie, this is perfect. Repair 4. Repair 4. And repair 7. Bam! Event completed. Okay, I'm proud of my solution there. That went really well. We got rid of the most serious event. Time to send someone to repair our hull here. The low temp one. Or at least remove the event that will damage our hull. How are you, OB? Everything fine, man? How is that beard growing? Alison Silva. Or Yuri Novak. I'd like to keep the Technician to recover health or to recover food. So either of these. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with a Specialist. Although he has a +1 reroll and we probably won't need that on this event. Now, I'm gonna send in the Pilot. Come on, Pilot. 3-3-2. We lose 1 assist. But we can just clear the event. Okay, no more no less, just enough. Okay, the Specialists, you're in good shape. So you go deal with this food problem over here. No more assists. 4-4-3. Okay, curious. Are we gonna reroll them all or not? Those 3s I definitely wanna reroll. The 4s. Because Specialists can reroll twice. Or we can use this to get food, but not clearing the event and harvesting food is a bad idea because the event will remove 1 food. So better get rid of the event than harvesting food, unless of course we can harvest 2 food. Then it might be better to harvest food than to get rid of the event. So I could actually hold for those dice, roll this one again twice and see if we get another 4. If we don't, we use it on the event. If we do, we use it to harvest food. And this is one thing I do hate. I would have preferred to have an option to go back here somehow and see all my crew. And I don't think I can. Because I want to see how many dice they have, and I don't think I can. Brain dead. Zombie time. This gear. Oh, OB, you also playing the same game? This Gaia? This something? Diarrhea 2? No, that was a bad pun. I think harvesting food is probably a good idea, so I'm gonna keep those 4s. If we roll a 6, then we get rid of the event. If we roll a 4, then we grow 2 food, and we will lose 1. If we roll something else, then we'll see. Ah, crap. Stasis. So we can still reroll those 4s, but if we use the 2 on the event, then we need to roll 2 6s here. Harvesting food's no point, because getting 1 food and losing it, that's totally useless. +1 to active crew member, +1 assist, -10 stress. Yeah, we don't need a -10 stress. I would actually consider re-rolling those, although 1 assist could be useful. Yeah, the 1 die could also be useful, so in particular if we don't get rid of this food blockage. Reroll the 4s or not? Nah, I'm gonna use them. Although I could have spent the 2 maybe better on research, on retrospect. Okay, technician, are we going for the food or are we going for the health? I think I want food, because we are going low on dice. And we'll deal with the health problems in the next turn, because next turn we only get 2 events, both medium severity. So let's see if we can get rid of the event and grow some food. +2 assist, +1 assist. I'm not gonna use it, because getting 2s here in stasis, we can then use them to harvest food. And we don't need high numbers to repair either. Pears, we need pears. No pears? Damn it. I could use 1 to get +2 assist, but I'd rather do it afterwards. I'm gonna keep the 6 and the 5 and re-roll the 1. Although that means we won't be able to... I need pears to harvest food, because getting rid of the event is easy anyway. I'm gonna re-roll them all. Because in this case, high numbers is not the most important. This Gaia. Okay, that's how I probably would have pronounced it. We don't need the high numbers, although +2 assist is nice. Maybe I should go with this one, but... Or keep 1 high die. Because I don't want to use it now to get assist, because I don't want to use these assists when I roll a 2 now. Because a 2 would be fine. Or I could just get rid of the I could also get rid of the event, repair it. But then I cannot get the assists. Ah, damn it. Dilemmas, dilemmas, dilemmas. I'm gonna keep the 6. I'm gonna keep the 5. Because we don't need a 6. Not for the assist, not for the repairs. And for our research, a 5 is better than a 6 because we already have a 6. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the 5, re-roll the 1 and the 6. Ah, crap. No harvesting food. Which means we will clear the event. Get our 2 assists. And get ourselves some research. But unfortunately, no food. So we're in good shape.
Food stores, and it looks grim. We lost more than half our supplies with the module. If we don't find some
But I really wish I had food.
before we ever reach
Next turn. Okay, plus 2 assists, minus and plus 20% stress. I don't need assist. Why do I need assist? I already have max assist. And getting stress again would undo the good stuff we did before. Plus 1 food is useful, minus 1 health. Well, the thing is, these are the 2 ones that are low on health. On the other hand, we want to heal them either way. So I think I'm gonna go for this one, just because the positive here is useless and the negative is not great. The positive here is very useful, and the negative is bad but not terrible. We might have to deal with injury events, but we are at maximum assist, and we still have 1 research option to get an assist as well. So our health will not be an issue this turn, and I'm going to deal with that either way. So I'm gonna go with this option. Now we have the option of cannibalism. I haven't used cannibalism that much, and I think I probably should, even if it is for the achievement. But cannibalism recovers dice, but also reduces maximum health, and it also increases stress. So in this case, I'm not sure, they're all low on dice. I do have 1 food. Who am I going to use it on? Since we are going to get 2 new events, the pilot might be a good choice. But I think it's more important to have someone capable of getting food. Because we really want food for everyone at the end of this turn. This is gonna be a priority because they're all going low on dice. Which means the specialist with his reroll ability, at 5 dice, he would be able to grow 3 food, most certainly. Of course, we don't know yet which events we're gonna get. I'm gonna use it on a specialist. I think the specialist is still my favorite. Pilot was a possibility because he could then move to any serious hazard without a health, without getting damaged. But specialist also are high in health, so yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. Alright, let's look at our events. We have 2 events that will damage hull. we have one event that will do -1 health to all, which is an issue because our technician's at 1 health and our pilot's only at 2. This Gaia, man. This Gaia. I think it's this Gaia. Steak or green cube? Human steak, Maisie. Human steak. So priorities. We need to fix one of these 2 events or repair our hull to avoid the ship from dying. Either of these will do. We need to get rid of the -1 health all, and we need to grow some food because we have 3 people who are getting low on dice. The good news is this event that we definitely need to clear is in the same room as our food thing. So what I'm going to do is start off with a technician, because we still have our 3 assists. Since these events cause injuries, we want to use... No, I want to heal him, of course. Commander? The thing is, the specialist here, he can take a beating. So using the assist now on the specialist to prevent injury is not what I want to use my assist for. But on the other hand, if I start with the technician in here, I can no longer send him to medbay to recover health. What I might do is send in the commander first, because he has guaranteed repair and he's a medium health. He can afford. He doesn't need to heal, but I'd rather not have him lose health, and we still have all our assists. Or I could start with this event first. Maybe that's a better idea. Send our commander to this CFC fail. He won't be able to clear it by himself. Though he could use the snack. I think that's probably a good idea. With 3 dice, I might be able to clear it. Hi Blobka, welcome to the stream on this depressing game. But we're doing relatively okay thus far. We're going slow. If I use the snack, will he be able to use that die right away? I think so. I'm gonna do that. Use the snack to get an extra dice. Or die. And then roll. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm gonna keep the 6 and the 5 and see what we roll with our last die. Or no, 4 repair. 6, 5 is 11. So 4 repair is just 1 short of clearing the event. So we're gonna need a 5 or a 6. Another 5 or 6 to clear the event. So what I'm gonna keep the 6 and the 5 for now and roll that last one first. And it's only a 1. I think that's a no-brainer. Increase assists. We still have 2 assists left. And spending that 6 and 5 on research, no thanks. This is pretty bad. Having 1 repair left on an event, that's the most hated situation. Because you have to send another crew member to get rid of it. Although, if we can repair our hull, we might get rid of the event next turn. Maybe. I'm gonna send in the pilot. 2 health, which is not really that great. Next turn we'll get 1 low and 1 high severity event. Gonna send in the pilot because we still have those 2 assists left. And we needed it, but for the void. So we can repair. Now we can increase assist. We're already at 1. Or we can spend 1 on research, but then I need to reroll because we already have a 6. The energy boost, +3 dice, active crew member, that's like 1 food. Could be pretty useful. Because remember, we're out of food and we are getting low on dice. We don't know yet if the others will succeed to get rid of the event and also get some food. So I'm gonna reroll because the assist at this point in time is probably less important than our research. Okay, unless we roll another 6. In that case, let's go and increase assist. Then our specialist. Let's see if we can clear the event and also grow some food, ideally. In a worst case scenario, our technician would need to do something about it, but we don't want to have our technician deal with the event because she only has 1 health. With the injury hazard, that means she could get killed. If the specialist cannot clear the event, then the technician cannot move out of here, because moving out of an event also causes 1 damage. Okay, let's start with our specialist then. And hope for some good rolls on this one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you need pairs, that's not exactly a good roll. I'm gonna use the 5 to repair. Reroll them all. Ah, crap. Use the 5 to repair. We could harvest some food, but then we have only 1 die left, which means our 1 health crew member would need to get rid of this event. Although we still have 2 assists left, so he might be able to do that. We wouldn't be able to heal, but probably getting food is more important. Let's check first what we roll. No, there's no point in doing that. We can immediately get the food. Roll a 3. Ah, damn, and we wasted an assist. Okay, not the best. Thank you, Netherlands, for dropping by. See you around. The technician with 1 health. We do have 1 assist. Are we? Yeah, we need to risk it. We have no choice. Let's hope he doesn't roll 2 3s or 3 3s. Ah, excellent. Ah, good roll. Good roll. Clear the event, get another food, and recover our assists. Perfect. Wow, perfect roll. The only thing we couldn't do is recover health. But in all other aspects, I think that turn went pretty well.
From Tharsis. An impossible signal from an impossible source.
And I'm probably gonna round off the stream shortly, and because I'm not gonna finish this run today, and I probably will be back tomorrow with the second half of it. If we're more or less in the half of the mission, halfway through, that would be good. So, +2 health for us, -1 die all, no way. 1 die for us, 20 stress for all. That's not good either. But luckily they are all at low stress. -1 dice for all, that's really too much. That's really too much. Although we have 2 food. So 2 of our crew members to 5, 1 at 4, 1 at 1. Or, yeah, 4, 5, 5, 4, 4, 2. If we use the food, 5, 4, 4, 2 in terms of number of dice. Removing 1 die, that would mean 4, 3, 3, 1. Not entirely, because with the food, yeah, we use the food afterwards, so it would be somewhat better, but not. The -1 die, sorry, I hate it. And the 2 health on the specialist is useless, because he can only heal for 1. On the other hand, it is really useful for the technician. $20 stress for all. We still have a research option to reduce test by 10%. I think that only cost 1 research. And stress levels are low at the moment, so I'm gonna go with the +1 dice. Because if we have enough dice, we can deal with health issues by sending people to the med bay. But losing dice is definitely not what we want. So yeah, +1 dice for all. Food and food. No cannibalism. Can we make a no cannibalism run? Okay, we can manage this. We can manage this. But we're almost halfway through, but look at the next turn. Yeah, OB, thanks for dropping by. Say hi to OBB for me, please. So, this turn is definitely doable, but we have to consider the next one. We need to be prepared. We need to be prepared for that next turn. 2 serious events and 1 medium. That's very harsh. That's very harsh. So let's not get overconfident here, because we are in good shape. And we do have 2 crew members with low health. We definitely need to address that. And the issue here is the -2 health all hit our med bay. Sending someone with high health to the med bay, what are they going to do with their excess dice? They don't need to heal. We can't spend it on research. Yeah, we can't spend it on research. Which wouldn't be such a bad idea, frankly. I'm not too happy with the options I have here in research, but the -2 stress could be useful. Well, they all could be useful, but I don't need any of those 3 at the moment. Sending someone with low health into the med bay is also a risk, because there's 2 injury hazards here. We still have 3 assists. That's the good news. But if they roll a 3, that does 2 damage. If we send our technician and he rolls 2 3s, which can happen with 5 dice, if she rolls 2 3s, then she dies. If our pilot goes in and rolls 2 3s, then what am I saying? No, we have 2 assists. So either our pilot, without the assists, our pilot and technician both would die by rolling a 3. A single 3 out of 5 dice, which is a pretty high percentage of that happening. But even our commander and specialist risk dying if they roll a few 3s, if we have no assists. But we do have assists, so the first 3 3s, the first 3 is cancelled out, but takes 2 assists. Yeah, so our technician, if he rolls 2 3s, that would still die. I'm not gonna risk that. Our pilot, if he rolls 2 3s, 3 will get cancelled out, he will take 1 damage. If he rolls 3 3s, he dies. Are we going to risk that? It's probably wise to send someone in first to get rid of this event, but yeah, Maisie, I have one assist here, but you can only go to 3. So on that first dice roll with 5 dice, they still risk dying. They all risk dying. Who's the highest health? The specialist. Assume she rolls 4 3s. 3 assists. For 4 3s times 2, because it's a double one. That's 8 injury. 3 would get cancelled, she takes 5 damage and dies. So either one of those members can die on the first die roll on this event. No, not the commander perhaps, because she only has 3 dice. So she rolls 3 3s, that's 6. 3 get cancelled, she takes 3 damage, then she has 1 health left. Maybe I should do that, send in the commander, because she doesn't have that many dice, so the risk is less. And then use the hack if we used one of the assists, and send in one of the lower health people. He also had a 4 repair. Sending in the specialist is overkill, because specialist can't do anything in sickbay and can still die even if he's at high health. Yeah, I'm gonna send in the commander. I think that's probably the wisest thing to do. Bam, 1 assist. And all low rolls. It's happened to me a few times too often, Maisie, and never underestimate the injury, especially such a double injury on the same die. That's a nightmare. That's absolutely a nightmare. I once had one with, I think, a fire somewhere with 654 of injury. That's a very hard event, because you can't, if you roll 6, 5 or 4, then you get injured. If you roll 1, 2 or 3, well, those will not help to get rid of the event. So you definitely need lots. It's good that we had lots of assists, but I'm gonna re-roll them all. I'm gonna use the +1 assist first. Okay, not good news. Okay, send in a technician and hope for the best. 1 tree, she will survive with the assist. 2 trees, she will die. But the same goes for the pilot. The only safe alternative is to send in the specialist and wait with healing later for the next turn. I might do that actually. Send in the specialist. Use any excess dice on research. And then send our pilot and technician to handle the other events. But that would mean next turn we will get 2 serious and 1 medium hazard, and we will have 2 crew members still with low health. Do I really want to do that? Well, that's the crazy thing, Maisie. Normally you want more dice. But if you have a lot of dice, you have more risk of injury. So that's actually a pretty weird downside of having more dice. But if you have less, then you don't risk injury as much, but you will have a more difficult time to get rid of the event in the first place. So yeah, such a weird thing, the injury hazards. I'm gonna risk it. She needs to heal. Because otherwise, if I send in the specialist to handle that and keep two of them at low health, it's a high risk. But at the same time, if I don't take the risk, I will be in a bad situation either way. Because we will have more injury dice on events next turn. So, technician. She must survive the first roll. If she survives the first roll, we can probably clear the event. Or she could get 2 more assists. Pretty confident if she survives the first roll, then we got it. But the first roll, 5 dice, she can't roll 2 trees. If she rolls 2 trees, we're finished, baby. Okay, that was a good roll. We even keep our assists. Excellent. Okay, so excellent roll. Okay, I definitely want to use A6 on health recovery. Then we could go 4-4-2 to clear the event and use the 6 for +2 assist. Or we could use 6 and 4 to clear the event and re-roll those last 2. I think that's probably wiser, because we can use to research, and if we get another 5 or 6, we can still use it to the 2 assist. Yeah, and we don't even need the +2 assist right now, because we already have 2. Okay, so 4 and 6, health recovery, and re-roll those dice. 6 and 3. Yeah, with 4 we could get 17, repair 1 module. That would be really awesome next turn when we get those 3 events. Okay, so we only have 1 crew member at low health. That's good news. Still have 2 assists. Which of these are we going to tackle? We still have 2 crew members left. Getting food is not a big priority at the moment. Is not at all a priority. Reduce stress, no. No movement damage, no. Harvest food, no. Regain dice. Well, the only one with low dice has already acted, so no. We've already used medbay, so that won't work. And increase assist, we don't need it. So either we tackle an event or we go for hull repair here in maintenance. Considering we still have our specialist with 4 dice, going for hull repair might be the better solution. Because these events deal 1 hull damage. So I think I want to send my specialist to repair the hull and then send our pilot to repair one of these events. Our pilot has 5 dice, so why not just tackle telemetry fail? I'm gonna do that. Okay, 2 assists. We have no more assists left. Use the 6. Rerolling could be a problem. I'm gonna use the 4. 3 dice left. We should get this. Okay, 1 stasis. 5, 3, and 2. Okay, 5, 3, and research. Perfect. And now our specialist could either clear that last event, or we could go for repairing hull. There's always the risk that we fail to repair the hull because we need pairs. This one, removing this one will certainly work. Yeah, I didn't even need to, amazing, but I still need to handle either this event or I still have one here, so I couldn't send both to flight. Because I'm at 1 hull and I still take 1 damage from this event too. I think repairing hull is probably better. Because we still have this, if we have extra dice we can use them on research, and then we have a 17 repair 1 module, which will be useful next turn to already clear one of the biggest events. So if we can improve our hull, then we will certainly be in good shape. It's always a dilemma between clearing an event that damages the hull and actually healing the hull. Pretty sure 4 dice with an extra reroll we should be able to get 3 hull repair. I'm gonna go for that. That's more beneficial in the long term. 5, 4, 3, 2, and we need pairs. Excellent. Absolutely what we didn't want. So there's no point in keeping any of them. So let's just reroll them all. Come on! What could be worse? Getting all different dice? If I fail to roll a pair, then I lose. Wow! Come on. 4 dice, we need at least 1 pair. If I fail this roll, I lose the game, Maisie? Who would have thought that? It's quite possible that this happens. Yeah, I almost have enough, but I need to succeed. I need to roll a pair. I need to roll a pair. Keeping one of the dice if you need to roll a pair is not helping. Two, three, four, 5. I lost. Okay, this sucks big time. Oh my god, I should have just cleared the event. Oh yeah, cancel. Okay, we have one last emergency exit. Reroll our research and hope there's one with one that repairs hull. +1 hull, quick patch. Okay, we're still alive. We're still alive. Oh, I'm glad that happened. I just thought I still had one wild card because I had lots of research. But I did lose the +17 research event. +1 die all crew is really nice for next turn. No movement damage, prevent stasis. Those two I don't particularly like. Spending 4 to prevent stasis, no thank you. No movement damage, we already have the pilot. But supplements, +1 die all crew, I think that's gonna be useful. Bon, we can't use... Bon, my French intermezzo. We can't use any hull repair, so I'm just gonna put them all in research then. We don't have any other choice. And we just saved the ship by re-rolling our science. You didn't like it, re-rolling science, but it saved us. It saved us. Without re-rolling science, the ship would have died. It was a close call. Okay, I'm just gonna choose the events here and then I'm gonna round up the stream because we're not gonna play the turn. We're just gonna see which events we get and that's all. So +1 food, -1 health for us. That's a good one. -1 dice I already see immediately. I don't want this one. So +1 food, -1 health for us. They both had high health. So yeah, this is pretty easy choice. And then we get the food on the commander, 5443, and we have a research option to get 1 extra die for all. So our no cannibalism run is going pretty well. Oh, this is a dangerous one. A 1 removes 3 health. I'm not entirely sure. If you roll a 1, does it take 3 assists to prevent that 3 damage? Or does it require 1 assist to prevent those 3 damage? Is it per number? Because I think that would be the most fair. Needing 3 assists, that sounds like totally unfair. I so miss this 17 repair research option to get rid of this event straight away. And this one's also pretty dangerous, the 5 and the 4. But the thing is, when they're different numbers, it's usually not such a big deal. The most dangerous ones I find are usually these ones, with the same die multiple times. Anyway, I'm not gonna play my turn. We definitely have problems with our hull. If we can get our hull repaired, I think we can repair 3 hull in here. That could bring us up to 4. Which means we need to prevent 4 hull damage. So we need to clear these 2, or 1 of them and then the 2 others. That's quite a lot. So everyone's gonna have to focus on repairing hull or clearing events. The good news is, besides our pilot, they all have high health, and our pilot can move around without taking health damage. They all have a lot of dice. We have 4 research left. And we still have an assist. And our stress levels are low. So we're pretty good shape, but this is a dangerous turn with all those injuries. This one also has an injury die, so Only one assist left. There is a risk we lose crew members here in the attempt to save the ship. We'll find out probably tomorrow, Maisie. Thanks for watching and have a good night.